Good morning, everyone. Wendell Malone with Welcome to Southeast New Mexico Weather. I'm going to try something a little different with my weather blogs that you guys see on my weather webpage by the same name, Welcome to Southeast New Mexico Weather. This is a first attempt at a weather video blog. Let me know what you think, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the surface map forecast for courtesy of the Weather Prediction Center. Today is Saturday, November the 18th, 2023. So as of noon today, this Saturday, we have a weak Pacific cold front developing with a surface low over southeastern Colorado, a trough of low pressure coming out of a low in southern Nevada with a trough along the west coast, an included front, warm front, and a cold front moving in the Pacific Northwest. So this is a forecast. By 5 p.m. this afternoon, the Pacific front begins to move through New Mexico, anchored to the surface low over southeast Colorado. We see a mix of rain and snow developing over the northern New Mexico mountains. Snow levels will start out high, anywhere from about 9,500 to 10,000 feet mean sea level. And then we bring this through midnight tonight, and the front's not making much progress southeastward. We still have a few rain and snow showers over western, far western, and northwestern New Mexico. Sunday morning at 5 a.m., the low begins to lift. The surface low begins to lift northeast into southwestern Kansas with an included front here, a warm front through west central Texas into South Texas. Pacific front from southwest New Mexico up through east central New Mexico, moving southeastward. High pressure here at the surface, southwest Colorado and north central Arizona. Another low over near the Las Vegas area with another Pacific cold front. And then 5 p.m. Sunday, the Pacific front has strengthened a little bit and moved further southeast through southeastern New Mexico with an attendant surface low reforming over this area of southwestern Oklahoma, another minor low over eastern Colorado, another low west of Phoenix with the Pacific front here. And then we see that we have rain at the lower elevations, western, northern New Mexico, snow at the higher elevations of western, northwestern, and northern New Mexico. And then by 5 a.m. Monday, surface low is south of Oklahoma City with a trailing Pacific cold front from near El Paso to the surface low, not moving real fast, kind of dragging southeast with the dry line bisecting west central Texas from a low down here in this area, southeast of the Big Bend, a low near Tucson, Pacific front, and western New Mexico snows and northern New Mexico snows with a few rain showers. Northeastern, eastern New Mexico, not that big of a deal. All right, next we're going to go up to the mid-levels of the atmosphere to about 18,000 feet. And we're using in this morning's run of the USGFS forecast model, initiated at 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time or 12 Zulu. So this is kind of the mid-level of the atmosphere, and we find that we have this elongated trough of low pressure from the Gulf of Alaska southeastward towards the northern reaches of the Baja area. Right in here, we've got a shortwave trough of low pressure trying to form with a deeper system here. Another shortwave here, coming out of a deep low north of Alaska near the Arctic Circle. And we have this ridge of high pressure this morning that was from southern, south central Canada down south through New Mexico, West Texas. This will be pulling off to the east into the northeast in time. Walk our map forward. This is the forecast for tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 Zulu. We have this long wave trough of low pressure that continues diving southeastward from the Pacific Northwest into the Great Basin headed towards our area. Let's go a little forward in time to 5 a.m. Monday. By Monday, this trough will have swung through the state. Let me back that up a little bit. I went a little too fast on you. By 5 p.m. Sunday, we have this broad trough of low pressure trying to close off. The GFS says it will not form a closed low per se, except maybe a weak low up in this area. And then go back to 5 a.m. Monday. Center of the closed low over Kansas with a shortwave trough back through New Mexico, and this trough again moving southeast. And then by Monday at 5 p.m. the low is up here in looks like northern Missouri, and the trailing trough of low pressure with a shortwave back to the southwest, exiting New Mexico, exiting stage right. We see our ridge of high pressure off the California coast pushing into the Pacific Northwest, into southwest far western Canada. And by Tuesday morning, our low is beginning to weaken, open up according to GFS as it moves further north, and the trough begins to swing to the east. And then by Wednesday morning at sunrise, the GFS wants to split the trough and form a closed low into the southeast, and then another one down here in north central Mexico, while the ridge pushes inland. And then we come into Thanksgiving morning. We have another shortwave trough of low pressure, again at about 18,000 foot mid levels of the atmosphere midway between the surface and about 40,000 feet. So this is almost the middle of the two. So this next shortwave will be our next storm potentially for the end of next week. The forecast models are all over the place with this. They are not in agreement. The GFS brings a weaker system into the state or west of the state, or through the state. I'm all messed up here. From Thanksgiving into Friday, it swings across northern New Mexico. The European wants to close off a stronger system here, and the Canadian, as usual, is kind of in between the two. So this far out in time, I don't put a lot of stock in what's going on, but for now, it looks like we're going to have some weather in the state from today through Monday, clearing out going into Tuesday and Thanksgiving. And we'll look at temperature and precipitation forecasts next. Okay, what we're looking at next is the National Weather Service NDFD forecast available off the Weather Bell weather model forecast site. And again, this is I don't charge for my blogs or my weather stuff. This is free. This is for entertainment purposes, general information only. It's not official forecast. I do not make money off of this stuff. So highs today will be in the upper 80s to the low 70s across the southeastern plains. We'll see the 50s basically in the Sacramento Mountains and northern mountains, the northwestern, western New Mexico, southern New Mexico, the mid 70s it looks like, and the eastern, northeastern plains, mid to upper 60s, central valleys, 50s and 60s, some of the northern mountains, the higher elevations in the 40s. And then for Sunday, this is our forecast highs, still warm in southeast New Mexico with the 70s, low 70s. It starts to cool off in northwestern New Mexico behind that approaching cold front with the 30s and 40s in the mountains, the lower valleys 40s and 50s. And then by Monday, much of the state will be much cooler except for the southeastern plains. We'll still be around 60. The eastern plains, the low to mid 50s. Looks like the upper 40s for northeastern New Mexico, the 30s. For most of the northern mountains, the central valleys, 40s and 50s. And then western New Mexico, the 40s, and southern, southwestern New Mexico near 60. By Tuesday, we're just a tad cooler with the mid to upper 50s for southeastern New Mexico. Again, 30s and 40s in the northern mountains, and the Sacramento's will be in the 40s and 50s, and then the upper 50s for the southern desert, southwestern New Mexico. By Wednesday, We start to warm back up a little bit with the low 60s for the southeastern plains, mid 60s south or southwestern New Mexico, southern New Mexico. Thanksgiving is looking beautiful with the low to mid 60s across much of southeastern southern New Mexico, the 40s and 50s in the mountains, northern mountains, higher elevations in the 30s and 40s, and into next Friday, pretty much the same. We have another storm that will possibly impact the state, but we'll look at that forecast later down the road. It's a little too early, but we're going to have a beautiful Thanksgiving after we have a couple of storms impact the state today through Monday. Next, we're going to look at the precipitation forecast. Okay, let's take a look at the National Weather Service NDFD precipitation forecast, again off the Weather Bell models. This is valid at noon today. We see some light to moderate rain showers begin to approach and move into far western and northwestern New Mexico, and then bring this forward in time through Monday or Sunday evening at sunset. This is the total precipitation forecast, rain and melted snow. We could see some totals over western and far northern New Mexico in the 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch range, with the lower elevations anywhere from 1/4 to a 1/2 inch in a few places. These grays are less than 1/10 of an inch, so not much across northeastern and eastern New Mexico, and none across southeastern New Mexico. All of this less than basically 1/4 of an inch. And then we move forward into Monday morning. The precip shield expands a little bit. A few of the higher elevations of the northern mountains may see upwards of an inch of liquid precipitation from rain and melted snow out of this. And then take this through time by 5 p.m. Monday as the storm begins to exit. Here's the storm totals from today through Monday evening at sunset from the Weather Service forecast on this model site as of today. Let me change this over to the snow mode, back this up and start over. Here we are. Here's the Weather Service forecast for snowfall for northern New Mexico by 5 p.m. this afternoon. Bring this forward till noon Sunday. And then Sunday at 5 p.m. we see some of the higher elevations of northern New Mexico beginning to pick up some pretty good snowfall totals, and then we'll roll this forward to 5 a.m. Monday. Official forecast for some of the northern mountains, 6 to 12 inches. Snow levels will start out high today around 10,000 feet, lowering in time as that Pacific cold front slices southeastward across the state. And then by Monday, we'll see snow levels down to around 6,500 feet, 7,000 feet in western and northern New Mexico. Maybe an inch or less in the southern Sacramento or the south central mountains, the Sacramento Mountains, Capitan Mountains. Not really expecting much here. And then by 5 p.m. Monday, as the storm exits stage right, begins to clear the area. Here's the snowfall totals, the pink areas, 10 inches to 12 inches. The darker blues in this area is 6 inches. So basically 6 to 12 inches in these areas. And then less than an inch of snowfall total from the storm in the grays. And same thing down here in the Capitan Sacramento Mountains. Switch this over to the wind forecast. And I'll show you the wind swath. It's going to get a little breezy today and tomorrow ahead of the storm as it approaches, and that Pacific front moves through the area. We're going to have southwest winds increase today, 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts across parts of the area. And then these winds will increase, shift around to the northwest with the cold front as it passes through Sunday and Monday. And then down here in the Guadalupe Mountains, we have a high wind watch for through Sunday evening, or I believe it's Sunday evening for the Guadalupes, where we're going to have southwest west winds 50 to 55 miles an hour, gusting to 70 miles an hour or so. And then by the time we get into Sunday evening around sunset, This is the strongest winds down here in the Guadalupes. And then 30 in these darker green areas, lighter green areas. Wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour across parts of east central plains, eastern New Mexico, down in through the Capitan, Guadalupe, Sacramento Mountains, 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts. And then parts of southwestern New Mexico in the 40 mile an hour range. And then we get a little stronger winds again Monday with the mixing of the cold air. So this is Monday afternoon by 5 p.m. Some gusts near 50 miles an hour in northeastern New Mexico Monday. And the Albuquerque Weather Service has mentioned in their forecast discussion there could be some blowing snow in the Raton Pass area on Monday, so be leery of that.